We are starting with a live look at Washington, D.C. President Biden is ending his campaign for president and is endorsing Vice President Harris. His decision leaves Democrats less than a month to figure out who will run against former President Trump. NBC's Bree Jackson reports.
In an historic move, President Biden dropping out of the 2024 presidential race, writing, "I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down." The news sending shockwaves through the nation.
It was a shock, but at the same time, they must feel it's best for the election.
I think he made a choice for the country, and I'm in favor of it.
The president's decision follows weeks of calls for him to step aside, citing concerns about his poor debate performance, age, and ability to lead for 4 more years if reelected. The 81-year-old says he's now offering his full support for his vice president, Kamala Harris, to be this year's Democratic nominee. In a statement, she says, "I will do everything in my power to unite the Democratic Party and unite our nation to defeat Donald Trump." Some lawmakers are also throwing their support behind the 59-year-old.
There's no time for bitterness, man. We have got to unite behind this ticket with Kamala Harris at the helm and move forward.
She carries into this campaign the Biden record, and it is a damn good record.
Former President Trump's team has been preparing to run against Harris for weeks. He's criticized her even before President Biden ended his campaign.
She's not a competent person. She shouldn't be president. I mean, she's being laughed at all over the world.
The world is now watching and waiting to see what the Democratic Party ticket will be. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Michigan is a critical battleground state. We're hearing what Michigan voters are saying about President Biden dropping out of the race.
Well, this is something they should have done 2 years ago. Democrats should have found their candidate 2 years ago if we want to win.
I'm kind of shocked just because during just a little bit that I see is campaigning, trying to speak and say, what he can do for us, change our minds. I know that myself was just on the edge.
Would have been Biden this year. It would have been Biden. Now we'll see.
In 2016, former President Trump won Michigan against his opponent, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. President Biden won Michigan in 2020. Governor Whitmer is commending the president's accomplishments like lower prescription drug costs and fixing the roads. She posted on X saying in part, "My job in this election will remain the same, doing everything I can to elect Democrats and stop Trump, a convicted felon whose agenda of raising families' costs, banning abortion nationwide, and abusing the power of the White House to settle his own scores is completely wrong for Michigan." We're also hearing from Michigan's senators following the news of Biden dropping out of the race. Senator Gary Peters said, in part, "Joe Biden's life has been dedicated to our nation. There's no greater dedication a leader can make than sacrifice. I thank him for his truly remarkable career of service to our nation." Senator Debbie Stabenow said in part, "President Joe Biden has done more for Michigan during his presidency than any other president in my lifetime. President Biden's long career of public service has truly improved the lives of Americans." We also had the chance to speak with Congressman Jack Bergman to get his reaction to the news.
Quite honestly, those of us who called it out and said President Biden isn't fit, we've been belittled, we've been smeared, all of us, because we dared to call out any commander in chief, but in this case, President Biden, for not being capable of leading our country.
Congressman John Molinar said in part, "President Biden has done nothing but endanger Americans and take more money out of their hard-earned paychecks, and his wavering health has made our country weaker. Vice President Harris and the other Democrats will only continue his policies and hurt our country even more." Democrats will need to unite around one candidate. The party had planned to hold an early vote to officially nominate President Biden. There's question now whether that virtual vote will still take place or if they'll wait until the August convention. Delegates could reach a majority during the early vote deciding the new nominee. If they do not reach a majority, it would pave the way for a wide open convention.